Now there's like a big echo because of the sort of whatever. It's a dreary, rainy day today in Japan. I want to do another video of me rambling about different things and about how trying to find good in the world and only seeing evil on MTC, on NPC. If you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want, appreciate it, thanks. So today I want to talk about this idea of, I guess the title is Indonesian Muslims treating each other like fucking animals, and maybe Japan has like figured it out, so to speak. Okay, so this comes to me because I was talking to some Japanese dudes, you know, broken English, their broken English, my broken Japanese, kind of language exchanging. We just kind of met on the street, and you know, a lot of times, generally they come up to me and they think like they'll start speaking Japanese, and I can hear them speaking about me. And then I'm like, hey, what's up? I know a little bit of Japanese. I'm like, oh, you understand? Oh, and they're like, oh, shit, like, dude, you look so cool, blah, blah. Like, are you like an actor, blah, blah. And we start talking. So anyway, point is, these were some young kids recently. And I guess they had gone this past summer, where the fuck it was. They went on some vacation recently. And they all went to Indonesia. And they were talking about, and then I was like, oh, I've thought about going to Indonesia, because I'd like to visit Thailand someday. I mean, I never was interested in Thailand before, but so many people talk about how awesome it is and it's cheap, and I'm like, I guess I should go there one day eventually. You know what I mean? Malaysia, you know, Indonesia, you know, I actually do think a lot of Indonesian girls are hot, so I mean, I wouldn't mind finding a cute girl there if it was possible, but they were talking about Indonesia, and like, oh my God, everybody's so nice. And I was like, what was the biggest culture shock? And they're actually like, everybody was so nice, and they were so religious, but still so nice, basically. And I'm like, oh yeah, Muslim. And that, you know, these were like, I think one of the kids said he was like 18 or some shit, it sounded like. You know, it's like, oh, we've never like hung out with like Asian Muslims before. And like, but they were so nice, and it was so cheap. And it made me think though, so we're using the word nice though. And they use the word nice, and like, they're so nice and so friendly. And like, I'd never seen anything before, like Muslims like that, I guess. But it made me think, again, using the word friendly, right? Because I had recently had a conversation with actually an Indonesian girl who's Muslim, right? And I guess I almost feel like there's this idea that if you see an Asian girl and she's Muslim, she's probably Indonesian. I don't know if there's an exact percentage. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, so I was talking to this girl recently, right? And we were talking about how there's still arranged marriages, believe it or not, you know, in some of these countries. You know, it's not that rare. And I've talked to many Indonesian girls, actually, who their parents, they actually will do arranged marriages for their daughters, right? And I was talking to this one girl, and she was like, if my parents choose for me a husband, because my parents want to do arranged marriages, my parents don't want to allow me to fall in love with anybody, that my husband must be picked for me, which is already fucked up and weird, right? If that person that I am picked to be with, before I even meet them, if they tell me they want me to get rid of all my friends, I will do that for them. And I was like, you're a fucking animal. Or like, do you realize you're being treated like a fucking animal, dude? Like, it's disgusting and it's sad. And she was like hurt when I said this. I guess she's like, I can't, why would you say that? She's like, don't you know it hurts me that, you know, you would tell me that I'm an animal for that? And I'm like, listen what you're saying. You chose to be friends with certain people, right? You in your life, you chose to be friends with people. You're telling me that you would choose to be friends with somebody, have these friendships and relationships in your life, but something that is not your choice, a person that you have never met before in your life, you would allow them to control you. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? And I was like, and I was thinking about that, because I think there is a stereotype, like I said before. A lot of times you think, oh, religion. If someone is religious, they must be super good. They must be super nice, right? I'm sure there's that stereotype in America. But like I've always said, a lot of times the more holier than thou you are, the more evil you are, sadly. Just like there's that idea back when I was a kid growing up that the most holier than thou person was, well, that's why you have the phrase, that they're fucked up. Now the radical LGBTQ is the holier than thou people, right? And I think there's probably this idea, there probably is a stereotype in certain places that maybe some Muslim, Islamic sort of, cultures, there's probably evil from some perspective, perhaps, you know what I mean? You think about, maybe it's like an American perspective because of stuff like 9/11, or I don't know what, but I would still say there's still probably a pinch of that idea that, if you're Muslim, you must be very nice, you must be very religious, you would never do any evil whatsoever. But, going back to, because I'm always rambling about these different things when I think about Japan, Japanese people I don't consider to be super nice per se, but they're very non-malicious, right? And, I always think about in my life, I'm trying to find what are like truly nice people, what are truly kind people, right? And when I think about truly nice and truly kind, I think about, would you do something that does not benefit you, right? And that's how I've tried to live, parts of my life, right? Again, I've talked about those homeless stories to the point that I was doing so many, I've sacrificed myself, so to speak, made myself miserable trying to do the right thing. It got to the point of, right? And I just think that, even though you could stereotype this Muslim person as being so kind, so nice, so sweet, the fact that they would say someone that was chosen for them, that they've never met, that they did not choose, someone they did not choose, they will allow to control them over the people that they actually choose. Do you think that is real kindness? To me, that would almost seem like a convenient kindness, right? And that's what I talk about. A lot of people are just, it's convenient to be nice. Right? Oh, I should be nice here. I should be nice here. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it doesn't come from their heart, from their soul, so to speak, right? Almost, right? And it's like, maybe that's not a true friendship, And there's also, again, we go back to the idea of that you only have 5 real friends in real life at any one point, because most people are just going to be acquaintances. They might go from the friend zone to the acquaintance zone, back and forth. It's hard to find people that actually truly care about you, with nothing, if it will gain them nothing, right? And anyway, I just thought that's why I was like, man, it's so sad, because I think there's a stereotype, again, that a Muslim person, very sweet, very kind often. Again, no religion is perfect, but, you think about maybe at face value, there probably is, it's based on something good. Probably like most religions, you would hope that it's based on good, but then when you read more about it, you read the actual Bible, you're like, holy fuck, there's a lot of fucked up shit here. You know what I mean? But you would hope that it treats you good morals. But then when you hear stories like that, and then like I told the girl, like, bro, you're like a fucking animal. Like, it's sad and it's disgusting, I think, and I pity you. And at the same time, although I said that to her, I also felt sad and disgusted for myself, because I feel that idea that, man, being truly nice and being kind really is just weird, right? It doesn't matter where you go. Being truly kind or being, nice, it only has value if the other person has value in you. Like, if you think that person is cool and you see them do something cool or nice, you're like, wow, that person's cool for doing that nice thing. If you think that person is evil, maybe you might just judge them like, oh, they're only doing something nice because they're trying to, they did something evil before, so that's why they did that. You know what I mean? You kind of like a coping mechanism, right? But there's just not a lot of like truly nice things, it feels like. And it's sad, and it makes me feel disgusted at myself for all the things that I've done, right? Like, I'm not like a perfect person, but in my quest to, find meaning in my life after, dying and all this other kind of stuff, I'm constantly trying to find, why am I this way? Why do I want to make the world a better place? Why do I act the way that I do? And I'm trying to search for, a meaning in life, something that is good, But you see stuff like that, and then you're like, man, maybe the world just sucks. The world is really just evil. Maybe this person, it's weird. And when I was saying at the end, like, maybe Japan has figured it out. Maybe that's why, because Japanese people are, again, I don't consider them nice, but they're very non-malicious, let's say. And they're very sort of, everyone just does their own thing. Perhaps in a way, Japan, in a roundabout way, has already figured it out that, guess what? Nobody gives a fuck about each other. This world sucks. The only thing that is keeping us from all killing each other is the fear that someone else might kill me back if I kill you, right? Do you know what I mean? So that's why we're just going to stay to each other. That's why sex is where it is like, you know, I know you don't care about me. Let's just have sex. Let's not talk about it. You probably don't actually care about me. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm not going to kill you because you probably try to kill somebody I know. Let's just walk around the street. You know what I mean? Like, that's maybe Japan has figured it out. Maybe that's why you know, I don't know. I was just thinking about that because I had those conversations with those Japanese guys I met. Then I was thinking about that Indonesian conversation that I had with that girl. I'm like, man, maybe the world is just evil deep down. People are only nice if it benefits them. You know, friendships, etc. aren't real. They're only momentary, you know, often disposable, easily disposable for the next. Oh, I think that's a better thing. You know, you see people openly will, you know, support legitimately evil things, evil people. Again, look at my story. Look at the weirdos that have, you know, fucked with me. You know, people support them even though no proof. You know, it just shows maybe the world is just evil, right? And I've said that before for many, many years now. One of the things that, you know, I've been lucky enough, quotation marks, to talk to so many people throughout the world, and I've had the opportunity to do it more so than others because of pictures being stolen on the internet. You're bored while you're in the hospital, bored while you're sick in bed, so I can answer all these messages, you know. But, you know, you're like, man, maybe I'm going to meet that person that changes my perspective on this world. And, you know, you're just like, man, I still... thousands and thousands of people. Who knows how many people I've talked to? Fuck, I was talking to this fucking grandma recently. My friend's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I want to go talk to that grandma. And he's like, dude, she's going to get attached to you if you start talking to this grandma. And we started talking in her broken Japanese or her broken English. No, actually, she didn't speak any English. That's my mistake. It was my broken Japanese with her Japanese. And man, I got up there close and I had to get real close because she said she couldn't hear and then she had no teeth. She's like, I water 6 meters a day of plants. I'm like, oh, geez, all by yourself? She's like, 6 meters. I'm a stupid old lady. She's laughing with no teeth, bro. I'm like, oh, my God. And she could barely walk. Like I said, Japanese people, I feel like they're forever young until you hit the menopause wall. And there's like, boom, the back cracks. They can't walk. I don't know, dude. But, you know, they got that longer lifespan for a while, I guess. But... nice lady, though. I wish I spoke more Japanese to try to talk to her, but anyway. I know she had given me a nice compliment. She's like, oh, you're the beautiful blonde-haired boy that I see. And I'm like, oh, I'm older than that. She's like, how old? 20? And I'm like, way older. And then she's like, how old do you think I am? I'm like, dude, I don't know. 60? And she's like, 85. And I'm like, oh, boy, and you're doing 6 meters of watering the plants a day? She's like, yes. Almost exactly, literally like that. Oh, boy. Anyway, remember if you like the videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support channel if you want to appreciate. Thanks. The end.